What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Yesterday was it was a fun day, wasn't it? If you were online at all, whether you're on Twitter or on your favorite gaming forum, like maybe you were on GameFAQs or Reset Era or really anywhere, you probably already know what I'm talking about. And we're going to get into the whole Nintendo expectations, the trolling, the fact that it was trending on Twitter. So much stuff went down yesterday, and we're going to talk about that. I'm also very happy because we get to talk about Cyberpunk 2077, something that I've been looking forward to for a while and has been kind of silent until yesterday. So it's gonna be some fun today. But I do want to let you guys know that Link statue appears to be probably going up today. It's gonna be finishing up today. We should be probably right around 75,000 subscribers, and tomorrow morning I'll announce the next giveaway. I'm really excited about that, but the Link one will be coming out pretty much right away tomorrow. The winner will be drawn, and then you can check on Twitter. We'll do the announcement, and I guess I'll also announce it tomorrow as well on Newswaves. But I'm really excited for the next one, the statue that I'm really looking forward to. It is a statue, and it's gonna be pretty fun, I think. But for today, let's get started. So here we go. Yesterday, online, everyone was looking forward to the Nintendo Direct being announced. It was everywhere. People were talking about it so much on Twitter that, seriously, the words Nintendo Direct started trending on Twitter, something that Nintendo clearly noticed. They know. They do look around online a lot. They look around on YouTube, look around on Twitter, they look around on message boards. It's very clear they have people who deal with social media, that their job is literally to see what people are saying online about Nintendo with expectations, criticism, and praising. So it is really scoped out a lot by Nintendo. So they knew what was happening here. They knew what the rumored date was that we were all kind of looking forward to, was the 11th today. But they didn't seem interested in announcing any Direct at all. Usually you would get the date. You'd get it ahead of time, right? That's what we all were figuring. 2 days ahead of time. Okay, no. The day before, all right, doesn't look like it. Could it be the day of? That's a little hard to say. It's something I'm not really expecting. So I don't think the Direct is on the 11th today. Now, I could be wrong. They could have been announced overnight or something, or it could be announced this morning. However, I don't think we're getting that Direct. Maybe it's next week. I do think we're getting one in January, though. I do. But who knows when at this point. Now, the real question is, what happened to all the rumors? Where did they come from? Because so many people that are so used to leaking these rumors, they were all pretty much on the same page about this one. Almost like the information all came from the same source. Maybe Nintendo got kind of heard about this and they said, oh, we'll just change the date. That seemed to be the popular theory going around today. So Nintendo decided to continue to kind of, I guess, troll the internet. They posted a picture that was really funny of Chibi Robo on fire, which was great. So many people, I really liked that tweet. I thought that was really funny. It was very clear that they were having some fun with the fan base. I guess at the fan base's expense. But again, over on different forums, people were actually counting down to the top of every hour, just because they figure, oh, a tweet, it might be like scheduled, which we did see with GameStop accidentally leaking a tweet, which we'll get to in a second, but people were counting down to the top of the hour, on the hour, looking for something by a scheduled tweet by Nintendo saying, hey, tune in tomorrow for like half an hour of new announcements for Switch, and then some 3DS stuff. A little bit of 3DS stuff, hopefully. There's one game, Zelda, maybe, that we keep hearing about. But for the most part, we were expecting this big announcement at the top of the hour, and it just seemingly never showed up. Instead, Nintendo just decided to poke fun at the fan base, kind of play along with all the rumors and everything. I mean, they're the ones who know when it's actually going to happen internally, and we're just kind of, left out here just trying to figure it out and just hoping, I guess you'd say. People were even setting their Chibi Robo on fire, their amiibo, as kind of as a sacrifice to get the Nintendo Direct to appear. But what I was talking about before with GameStop, they put out a tweet saying 45 minutes till the Nintendo Direct, where they will show us all about 2018. What are you looking to see? And that was very clearly a scheduled tweet. Almost like it either went up at the wrong time, it was supposed to go up on the day that the Direct was going to happen, or maybe the Direct was supposed to happen that day, and they forgot about it, plans changed, and then boom, it pops up. They deleted it 1 minute later. But that sent the speculation world on fire. People were like, oh, what happened here? When was it supposed to go up? And then we get more information about 6 unannounced, or at least 6 kind of blank SKUs for Switch games that popped up in the GameStop their pre-order system on their computer. Somebody took a picture and found it, I guess an employee. So yeah, speculation was running wild already, and then it really gets going with the Direct. Things start piling on top of each other, and this may end up being the most hyped up Direct that I have ever seen, and that includes the Nintendo Switch reveal. I'm not even kidding, it's that crazy right now. So I guess now the question is, well, now what? Well, we wait. I mean, sure, it could be look, listen, a Direct can be announced at any time. I know we're going by a schedule, but they could release it really any time they want. They could walk up at 10:37 in the morning, click a button, and then boom, join us like 2 days from now, join us next week for Direct. I don't think it would be a same day announcement. People are saying, oh, they might stealth release it. Sure, it could happen. I'm not saying it wouldn't happen because it's very possible. I don't understand why that really makes a lot of sense though, because they would want to make sure people know when it is, right? Especially like press sites and stuff like that to be ready to cover it. They don't send that stuff out ahead of time to most press sites. It's just, we know ahead of time, 2 days, 1 day even, and then we're ready to go, whether people are live tweeting, streaming, whatever, covering it essentially. So it wouldn't make sense for them to just go live. They're just like, hey, we're live. If anything, they could announce it maybe even 6-7 hours ahead of time, and then we go, or they just announce it maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday for, later on next week or something. Next up, let's move over to Cyberpunk 2077. Something I'm pretty excited about because I've been waiting for this game to do something, to show up somewhere, because the Twitter account itself has been inactive since 2013. Nothing has been happening. People have been talking about it. CD Projekt Red's been very quiet about it because they, of course, were working on Witcher 3, which came out critically acclaimed, great game, good sales, good DLC. A lot of people were like, oh, I don't like DLC. That was good DLC, done well. And for the most part, other than their whole employee Glassdoor thing that took place, it's been pretty good overall. People like CD Projekt Red, and they're looking forward to Cyberpunk. And finally, the Twitter account essentially woke up with one word, one piece of text that simply read beep. Now, Cyberpunk 2077 was first announced in May 2012. In January 2013, the teaser trailer that most of us know and have seen was released. And since then, we've been waiting. Now, it's obviously confirmed for Windows, any of the Windows platforms. It's probably just Windows 10, actually, now I think about it. But PlayStation 4 and Xbox One have at least been cited as probable platforms. Again, makes a lot of sense. You put out a game like this that's massive in scale, as we assume it will be, and apparently it's supposed to have a multiplayer component of some kind. You want it on as many platforms as possible. Xbox, PlayStation, it makes a lot of sense, and it should run fine on something like the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro. 4K would be maybe a little sketchy. Witcher 3 at least gets very close to a stable 4K appearance on the Xbox One X. I know it's a little more touchy on the PS4 Pro, but still, moving it over to those would give them the best sales possible alongside their PC release, because PC gamers generally pick up CD Projekt Red games pretty well. They supported the Witcher series very well, and they will support Cyberpunk. I just want to see a little more information about it. I want to see some gameplay, just something. I'm just happy to see that they have at least alluded to more information coming soon. After seeing the Twitter account become active again, I expect to see definite information this E3 for Cyberpunk, so I'm pretty excited. Next up, we had some release dates yesterday. We had Ys 8 actually announced for the PC. Now, it is already out on the PS4 and the Vita. It actually came out on the Vita back in 2016 in Japan, then 2017 everywhere else, and then it also came out 2017 that same year on the PS4, so it's at least already out. But there have been some issues or some disappointment with the game script, the voiceovers, and they are looking to fix that alongside the PC version release. It will be releasing on the PC January 30th, and it's also going to come out with a patch for the PS4 and the Vita version that same day. And apparently that actual patch for the Vita and the PS4 will be doing things like fixing the entire script of the game for any localization issues that popped up, whether it's bad grammar, bad spelling, things like that. And of course, they apparently recorded most of the voiceover work and everything to fix that, to kind of coincide with the changing of the script. So I'm happy to see that. That's great. And if you're a PC owner, you've probably been waiting for Ys 8, as it's very popular on Steam. I know that. People buy it a lot. And if you've been following the series, maybe you don't have a PS4 or a Vita, although I will say generally it pops up on those platforms consistently, or at least before the PC version, as we see here. So I guess if you're most of this PC gamer, you're just excited to see this. Now the PC version is also going to come with a bunch of free DLC, which should be exciting to you because it's free. I think this is mostly for the wait for the PC version, but again, with the PC version, you're going to get the better script, the localization voiceover work. But here you go. For the free DLC, you'll be looking at the Adventure Essentials DLC, the digital mini art book, and digital soundtrack sampler, along with the Eternia Scholar costume. So always good to see free DLC pop up for something like this with a release. And hey, if you're an Ys fan, just know you can pick it up at the end of this month on PC. If you want to get it on PS4 and Vita, you can do that now and then wait for the patch to play through it. Now we also had a release date for Darkest Dungeon release for the Nintendo Switch. This game's been out for a little while now on Steam and PC. It came out back in 2016 from what I remember. I actually remember taking a look at it. Evan has bought it, played it, beaten it, I believe. So it's been out for a little while on Steam at this point, from what I remember. So it is coming to the Switch, and that's going to be January 18th. So next week it will actually be out. And this game is kind of cool. It's a challenging gothic roguelike turn-based RPG, and they describe it as it being about psychological stresses of adventuring. Evan said it's pretty difficult, but it's difficult to a degree. It's not difficult to the point where you're going to just give up because it's super unfair. It's more along the lines of you learn as you play and you get better, and then it becomes a little easier for you. Again, though, looks like a pretty fun game, and just, I guess, another indie type game to add to the Switch's library. Next up, we've talked about Steam a lot, specifically about how many games go to it and how Nintendo needs to kind of learn, because Nintendo's becoming very quickly the indie spot to go. A lot of indie games go to it now. And we kind of have to look at Steam as an example here. Now, Steam Spy released their annual numbers from last year, at least a little bit. They told us how many Steam games released on Steam, how many games in total. Now, if you don't know, Steam gets a lot of games. I mean, like a lot of games. And just as an example, last year, the total for the entire year, 7,672 games. For the year, that comes out to about 21 games per day that come out. Now, we've heard a lot of rumblings about how indies get frustrated with Steam now. Steam used to be a great place to go if you were a smaller indie developer because you could put your game there, got great attention, right on the front page for new releases and everything. Generally, you did pretty good. You made some money, at least enough money as an independent developer, publisher, whoever, to at least continue on. But it's become less so now. In fact, to the point where indie developers are saying the Switch version is outselling the Steam version consistently, almost every time. And that seems to be because it's easier to become visible on the Switch than it is on Steam. If 21 games release on average per day, it's not going to be like that every day. Some day, maybe like 8 to 10, and then the next day, 31 or something like that. But still, if you're an indie developer, you put your game out, it's very easy to get buried. Like, very easy, and it's not even good games that bury you. I mean, this is the platform that brought us the fidget spinner game with the massively expensive DLC that costs more than the game. There are so many bad games on Steam, it's a wonder indie developers even release on there in the first place. Now, I say that because Steam does still take a pretty large chunk of your money, and it is easier, I guess, to at least get on Steam, but I can't imagine most of these developers get excited to go on Steam like probably they were 5-6 years ago where it was less crowded. But now it's just, there's so many people on there. I understand now why we hear about these developers who are just like, I guess we'll put it on Steam, and why so many are flocking to the Switch. Nintendo just needs to learn from Steam's mistake now. They're letting everyone in, and it's turning into a pretty crowded mess there. Seriously, Nintendo needs to curate their different indie games that show up and space them out. Don't release 30 games in one day, every day. Don't do that. Be careful. It can really catch up to them, and then indie developers will move on to the next platform that is up and coming, and maybe they can get some visibility there. In our last bit of news, let's talk about that Switch firmware 5.0.0 leak. Remember how this came out? Is rumored that it was the next thing that Nintendo was going to release, and it showed everything that we wanted on the Switch, including, native voice chat, system-level voice chat, and it looked great overall. It looked a little too good, I think most of us realized. We picked it apart a lot, found a lot of flaws and issues with it, deemed it fake. However, there were some people who still were kind of on the fence, but you really don't need to be anymore because the person who made that has now shown up on Twitter and basically told us that they made it and that it wasn't real. This was done in a tweet by a person on Twitter named Nintendo Fanart saying, "Well guys, I'm sorry, the Switch 5.0 leak is officially fake. I'm proud to announce that I was behind the mock-up that so many of us wish that Nintendo America learns from. Thank you to everyone for your kind words, and let's all pray for a direct soon." So there you have it. That leak was absolutely fake. I do think they did a great job on it, to be honest. There were so many people who were just completely fooled by it, and we did have to really scrutinize it. We had to get the big magnifying glass out for that one. And overall, I really liked what it looked like. That is honestly something I would not mind turning my Switch on and seeing that kind of OS, that kind of integration of pretty much every feature that we want. But yes, it was fake. It's more of an entertainment thing now, and honestly, we'll see what the future holds for the Switch OS. I will say this, when we get to the end, it's fun to look back at the beginning of the Switch OS, and we'll look really to the end of its lifespan, like we did with the 360. There was a blade system, and then it moves all the way to what it looks like now, which is completely different. I mean, back then, when the 360 first came out, you couldn't download something and move away from it. You had to leave that blade up. I remember that. We had to leave the blade up to download demos. If you took it off, it would stop downloading. That was a real thing back then that I think people forget about. So the OS, I'm sure, will improve. It will change. Maybe this is what it ends up looking like when it's all done. It's hard to say. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for Newswave today. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Really helps out. If not, hit the dislike button. Leave a bunch of comments down below about everything we talked about today. Whether it's Nintendo just trolling fans. Were you annoyed all day? Were you one of the people in the forums counting down to each hour? Were you constantly refreshing your phone, your laptop, your tablet, whatever? Were you on Twitter constantly looking and looking and looking? People were trying to trick you, I know. On Twitter, people were making Nintendo accounts and then putting up Nintendo Direct announced. It was a weird, crazy, wild day on the internet, but let me know your experiences. I just want to know what you think about this whole thing. And do you think Nintendo Direct is still going to show up today, or do you think it's next week? Maybe it's Friday. I don't know. Just let me know where you fall on that. And if you're a fan of Cyberpunk, are you excited that Twitter account has now updated and that it's happening? I think it's happening, guys. We're getting Cyberpunk information hopefully soon. I'll keep you guys up to date on that as well, because it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.